The day started like any other, too early, too heavy, and too lonely. Era Malik stood in front of the office mirror, forcing a tired smile. Her eyes were ringed with sleeplessness, her wrists trembling as she tied her hair into a neat bun. She had been working 16-hour shifts for weeks, barely eating, barely resting, but quitting was never an option. Her family depended on her. At least that's what she believed. By 9 a.m., the office was already buzzing. Deadlines, emails, and phone calls blurred into a suffocating rhythm. Era's heart pounded in her chest like it was running a race her body could no longer handle. Still, she smiled at her boss, sent reports, and answered messages from her mother asking, "Did you transfer the money?" There were no "how are you?" or "take care of yourself," only demands. Only expectations at 3:47 p.m. The world tilted. Era felt her vision blur, her knees weaken, her lungs tighten as if someone was pressing against her chest. Papers scattered as she tried to hold the desk for balance. A coworker's voice echoed faintly, "Era, are you okay?" But before she could answer, darkness swallowed everything. When she opened her eyes, a white ceiling stared back. The rhythmic beeping of a heart monitor filled the silence. She was in the hospital. Her throat burned when she tried to speak. A nurse rushed in, relief flooding her face. "You're awake, you collapsed at work. We called your parents, they know you're here." Era exhaled shakily. They must be on their way, she thought. Her mother would scold her for not eating. Her father would grumble but stay by her side, and her sister Sarah would cry. That's what families did, right? But hours passed, the room stayed empty. The nurse returned, frowning. "No one's come yet, dear. Are you sure they got the message?" Era nodded weakly, reaching for her phone. Her notifications were overflowing messages, comments, and tags. Her stomach twisted when she saw Sarah's post. "When your sister collapses from stress pleading. Broken # stay strong Era # family, first # work-life balance." A picture of Era unconscious, hooked to Roman IV tubes, was circulating online. Comments poured in, "You're such a caring sister. Hope she recovers soon. Prayers for your family." Era's hands trembled, not a single message from her parents, no calls, just Sarah's smiling selfie captioned, "Visiting the hospital again, 2 hearts stay positive." Tears stung Era's eyes. In that cold, sterile room, surrounded by machines, she realized something that shattered her more than the collapse ever could. She had spent her whole life saving a family that wouldn't even show up when she needed saving. And for the first time, she felt truly, devastatingly alone. The next morning, sunlight slipped through the hospital blinds, soft and golden, but Era felt nothing but emptiness. Her body was weak, her mind heavier than ever. The nurse entered quietly with a clipboard in hand. "Miss Malik, we still haven't received your payment details," she said gently. "The contact number you gave for your parents isn't responding." Era blinked in disbelief. "They didn't come yesterday either." The nurse shook her head, offering a sympathetic smile. "Maybe they're busy, the word hit her like ice. Busy while their daughter lay hooked to tubes. Busy while her pulse struggled to steady. After the nurse left, Era reached for her phone again, hoping, begging, for a missed call, a text, anything. But her screen was filled only with notifications. Her sister, Sarah, had posted another update. "So proud of my strong cis red #fighter, #hospital days, #family bond." The post had over 5,000 likes. Comments praised Sarah's dedication. Some even sent money through her support link. Era's chest tightened as she read Sarah's replies to fans. "Yes, she's stable now. Thanks for your prayers. Our family's going through so much pensive face," but Sarah hadn't even called her once. Her trembling fingers opened a banking app. The balance was nearly zero. The automatic transfers she'd set up for her parents' expenses had cleared rent, electricity, groceries. She'd been paying for everything, even from her hospital bed. Her heart pounded harder when she found new charges, luxury store payments, restaurant bills. Her father's name appeared in the transactions. "They're living off me while I lie here." A nurse entered again, holding a printed statement. "You'll have to settle this soon, dear. Maybe ask your family for help." Era's lips parted, but no words came. She just nodded. When the nurse left, she scrolled further down Sarah's social media, her stomach churning. A sponsored brand deal. Sarah posing beside flowers with the caption, "Life is fragile. Cherish your loved ones bouquet #sisters our blessings #collaboration with glow skin." That was the moment something inside Era cracked. Her tears stopped, her pulse steadied. For the first time, the pain began to turn into something else, something sharper. She saved every screenshot, every post, every transaction, each proof of how her family had used her pain for profit. As night fell, Era looked out the hospital window at the city lights. Her reflection stared back, pale, weak, but alive. "They forgot me," she whispered, "but I'll make sure the world remembers them." Her heart no longer begged for love or answers. It beat now for something colder, clearer, a promise that when she rose again, she would never be the same woman who fell. 6 months had passed since Era Malik disappeared. The world believed she had moved abroad for recovery. Her parents told distant relatives that she was busy with work in another country, while Sarah continued to post old memories for sympathy and likes, but Era wasn't overseas. She was alive and rebuilding herself under a new name, Era Zain, in a small apartment in Lahore. Gone was the woman who begged for love and approval. In her place stood someone quieter, sharper, and stronger. Every morning, she woke before dawn, brewed coffee, and sat by her laptop. She had started a small digital marketing company, Phoenix Digital, a fitting name for someone reborn from ashes. Using skills she had honed at her old job, Era began freelancing, managing campaigns, and designing strategies for rising influencers. Within months, her work started to attract serious attention. Her clients didn't know her face. She communicated through emails and video calls with her camera off. She liked the anonymity it gave her peace. One rainy evening, while reviewing new client requests, Era froze. A familiar name blinked on her screen, Sarah Malik Influencer Management Agency. For a long time, Era just stared at it. Her sister, her betrayer, the one who had turned her collapse into content. Sarah's company wanted Phoenix Digital to handle a rebranding campaign. Her first instinct was to reject it. She didn't want to feel that old pain again. But then, a colder thought whispered inside her. This is how it begins. Era accepted the deal. Days turned into weeks as she worked closely with Sarah's team. Under her alias, of course. Sarah never suspected a thing. Over video meetings, Era listened to her sister's confident voice, the fake charm, the constant talk about fame and money. Sarah spoke proudly about her struggles and family sacrifices, as if Era hadn't lived the real pain behind those lies. Each meeting reminded Era of the hospital bed, the silence, the betrayal, and each reminder fueled her calm determination. Through her role in the rebranding, she gained access to the agency's back-end contracts, invoices, private messages. The data revealed a web of deceit, fake sponsorships, stolen identities, and manipulated donations. One night, as thunder rolled outside, Era saved the files on her hard drive. She stared at her reflection in the dark window, no longer the girl who collapsed under pressure, but a woman rising with purpose. "This isn't revenge," she whispered. "This is justice wearing a quieter face." The storm outside raged on, but Era smiled softly. For the first time in years, she felt in control. Her fall had broken her body. Her rise would break their lies. The night before the campaign launch, Era sat in her quiet apartment, surrounded by the soft hum of her computer. The final documents were ready, the evidence she had gathered from Sarah's company, fake invoices, stolen funds, and the detailed list of lies her sister had sold online. Every file was neatly organized under one name, the family that forgot me. For months, she had built her plan carefully. She didn't want chaos or shouting matches. She wanted truth, calm, undeniable truth, to burn them from the inside out. At exactly midnight, she uploaded the documentary she had edited herself. It opened with her faint heartbeat from that hospital night, and a simple line on the screen. "When I collapsed, they called my parents. They never came." Her voice, steady and cold, narrated everything, her story, her sister's exploitation, her parents' greed. Screenshots, bank transfers, and Sarah's fake brand deals appeared one after another. It wasn't bitter. It was honest, almost painfully calm. Within hours, the video went viral. People who once praised Sarah now flooded her posts with anger and disgust. You used your sister's pain for fame. How could any family do this? Brands began to withdraw their sponsorships. The influencer agency crumbled overnight. By morning, every major outlet was covering the story. Influencer exposed by anonymous whistleblower. Sarah's world was collapsing the same way Era once had. Later that evening, Era received an unexpected call. It was her mother's number. For a long moment, she considered ignoring it, but something in her heart wanted closure. She answered. Era. Her mother's voice trembled. Was that you? You ruined everything. Your sister's crying your father. He's sick. Era listened quietly. Panic, the fear so familiar once, now hollow. Do you know what ruined everything? She replied softly. The day I realized I was just a wallet, not a daughter. Her mother tried to defend herself, but Era ended the call. Her hands didn't shake, not anymore. A few days later, she met with Rehan, her friend and quiet supporter through her new life. He looked at her with concern. You finally did it, he said. Do you feel lighter? Era smiled faintly. Not lighter, freer. They walked outside, where the city lights shimmered against the night. She looked up, breathing deeply. The air no longer suffocating, the silence no longer lonely. They taught me to break, she whispered. I taught myself to heal. And that, she realized, was the sweetest revenge of all, not destroying them, but proving she could live beautifully without their love. Era Malik had fallen once. Now she was flying.